Hi, Mary Boccaccio here. Today I'm going to make a classic meatloaf. Everybody has a recipe for meatloaf, I'm sure. This is just a simple one. I have 2.5 pounds of ground beef. This is like 90% like lean meat and 10% fat. I have 1 green pepper, 1 red pepper, and 1 small onion. Now you could chop that up and just put it in there like most people do. But I'm going to put it in a food processor because we're going to make it ground so it becomes part of the meat. So we have our product in the food processor. I'm using the small one because it's not that much. If you like more, you could put more, but I wouldn't suggest it. It could overpower, and I never can work the food processor, so hang on. Okay, so I finally got the processor lid to close. Couldn't do it, okay? I'm going to pulse it a couple times to get it started. And you always want to chop up, just into rough chop, the pieces that you want to put into a processor. It makes it easier on your machine, and it works better. So I'm going to grind this. So my theory behind this is that it's going to make the meatloaf nice and moist, besides give it flavor. You can see it's all ground real nice. And now to try to get it out of here. I think there is a trick to it, but all right, well, whatever. There's a couple of,
Right here.
oh yeah, here. I always forget this. Okay, so there's a couple of big pieces in there. That doesn't matter because sometimes when I make it, I just leave it. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of that water out. I'm going to put that right in there. Whoops, not the blade. Okay, so I'm going to get all this in here, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay, see? Looks good. Okay, it's going to taste good. And salt. You always need salt for beef. Beef needs salt. Don't be afraid of it. Salt always sticks to my hands. And then ground pepper, of course. And usually with ground meat, when you're making meatballs or meatloaf or whatever, it's like 1 egg per pound. So it's 2.5 pounds, but I'm not going to worry too much about that half a pound because I have the ground vegetables in there. So we got that going, and my friend Jimmy always added a teaspoon of mustard. Yeah, don't be afraid of it. Make a nice one. Whatever kind of mustard you like. I had Dijon today, so I used it. And about a tablespoon of ketchup, or more if you like it, but a tablespoon's enough. And I'm going to grab gloves. We're going to mix this and be right back. Start with a 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs. If it's not enough, we'll add more. Okay, put like about a little tablespoon of dry parsley. Now we're going to dig in there and mix. Don't be afraid. You can use your hands if you want. I prefer not to touch the meat. Clean cutting board. So looking at this texture, you could do it that way. It won't fall apart, but I want to add another, maybe 1/8 of a. Gonna mix it in. Yeah. I hate the gloves, they're too big for me, but they serve the purpose. So this is a nice texture. You can take a piece, you can see it holds together nice. Now, if you wanted to, technically you can take a little piece of this, like I showed you before when we were making meatballs, and you can fry it to make sure it's got the right seasoning you want. But I know it does. I make stuff so many times. And so you want to, I'm using a throwaway pan because I do not want to wash the pan tonight. So I could do it that way. It could be that high. I don't want it that high. I'd rather it be smashed. I made it like this. I think it's perfect. I didn't oil the bottom of the pan or anything because you would if you were using your roasting pan because this doesn't have any fat in it. I'm going to put a little bit of beef stock at the bottom, beef broth, whatever you have. You don't have to do this. You can if you want. You can put you can buy the can of brown sauce, but I'm going to put this in, and then in the end, I got a little bit of veal stock in there I'm going to add to it. Maybe a little bit of Wonder flour. So we're going to put this in the oven. I got the oven at 350. And you don't have to cover it or anything. Now, some people, what they do, they put bacon on it now. You can put the bacon. It'll help with more fat and all if you want it that way. Some people I've seen, they brush ketchup on the top or tomato sauce, whatever you want. I like it plain. I don't even really like it with the onion and the peppers. But I've decided to do it this way tonight. This is where we're going to eat it. Okay, I'm going to put it in the oven now. We'll come back and check it. I'm going to say that's going to take at least an hour and a half. Good. I like it really well done. Okay, been about an hour. And I just wanted to tell you that I forgot to tell you, I had put about, maybe that was like 3/4 of a cup of the broth. But you can see it's starting, all the meat juices are starting to go into there. And that's going to make a nice gravy. Then we'll season it, take care of it. Let's see if we need the veal. But you can see it's not cooked. Not a big deal. It's been about an hour, I think. So this is about an hour and a half. Now remember, this is 2.5 pounds of ground beef. So you can see there's a lot of good juice at the bottom, but I think what I'm going to do, instead of putting the veal demi and making my own whisk it up, I'm going to add a can of brown gravy. Won't hurt none. I'm just going to give it a cut to see, you know, how it looks. So, let's get a look at that. Doesn't that look good? Nice and done. And then I'll show you how we're going to plate it later, okay? Okay, time to have dinner. I like to cut the meatloaf up because I like it to heat in the pan like that. Look how beautiful it looks. You don't see any of the peppers or the onion. You see little specks of the red. It's just it's really a good meatloaf. So I'm going to take a piece, and I decided no can. What I did was I added a little more beef stock, and to the beef stock I added a little Worcestershire, a little A1, some barbecue sauce. Look at that. Make a little broccoli. This is like just an old school dinner. I've been cutting down, no candy. I don't care. Tonight I wanted mashed potatoes, and that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna get my mashed potatoes over here. This is like growing up. Remember this? Some of you are still lucky you make it often. I don't make it often. Okay, so here we have good old-fashioned meatloaf with some broccoli, some mashed potatoes. It's so crazy out there now. Please, please be careful. I wear a mask. You know, can't tell everybody what to do, but I wish you would. I want everybody to stay safe. And if you like the video, please share it. If you make it, send me a photo. Cheers.